Good afternoon and welcome to DA Investigates. I'm David Moody bringing you tonight's story. Tonight we deliver to you the story of Virginia Beach resident Joseph Hagerman III. In 2009, he was a storied veteran of the United States Marine Corps working in the Virginia Beach school system. A loving and supportive husband, a doting father, and a devout Christian. But in addition to all these things, Joseph Hagerman also suffered from schizophrenia. Okay. This brings us to the fateful day of February 10th, 2009. It was a day that most likely began like any other in the Hagerman household. However, within a matter of seconds, what began as a routine day in the home turned deadly. Joseph Hagerman proceeded to decapitate his 5-year-old son Joshua in the family's living room with a serrated kitchen knife in the presence of his wife Shirley, who was also injured in an attempt to save her son. Joseph, who's in a jailhouse interview, admitted to killing his son, claimed that he was saving his son's salvation from the Antichrist. He admitted to taking his son's life quickly so that he would not suffer and that the act was committed out of love. According to a psychologist's report that was presented during the trial, Hagerman's behavior leading up to this incident had become more erratic and delusional, and his mental status had continued to deteriorate. He had begun hallucinating and appeared obsessed about the biblical end of times, poring over the book of Revelation and praying to people whom he believed could read his mind. And he had rarely slept and stopped taking his medication. Hagerman was charged with first-degree murder and felonious assault and was held without bond in a Virginia Beach court. Some 3 months later, Joseph Hagerman was found not guilty by reason of insanity with the charges of first-degree murder and malicious wounding and was ordered to a hospital. Fast forward to 9 years later, in a courtroom in Virginia Beach, Joseph Hagerman is granted conditional release. The conditions of this release are that Hagerman must remain in an adult fostering facility Monday through Friday. On weekends, Hagerman will be staying with his parents in their home, which happens to be next door to the home Joseph and Shirley shared at the time of the incident. Another condition of his release is that Hagerman must also be seen twice daily by a member of the city's program of assertive community treatment in order to ensure that he maintains taking his medications regularly. Okay. So today we dig into the signs and symptoms and of this illness, as well as comments and thoughts of his conditional release from Hampton Roads community regarding their neighbor returning home after 9 years of hospitalization and treatment. For more on the illness known as schizophrenia, over to Eric Magwood. Eric.
Thank you, David. Hello, I am Eric Magwood. Schizophrenia is a complicated disorder and can be difficult to understand. In short, schizophrenia can be described as a chronic brain disorder that makes it difficult for a person to think, feel, and behave in a way people would perceive to be normal. Although this disorder was already known back in 1887, when it was identified by Dr. Kraepelin, it was not until about 100 years ago that the disorder was actually termed schizophrenia. Schizophrenia can actually be traced back to the second millennium before Christ. However, back then, any type of mental illness was said to be caused by the body being possessed by evil. Therefore, the treatment was exorcism. Schizophrenia affects about 1% of the population and is not gender specific. Common symptoms can include delusion, hallucination, trouble with thinking and concentration, and lack of motivation. Even today, there is no cure. However, research is leading to healthier and safer treatments. Back to you, David.
Thank you, Eric, for that insightful information. We now take you out to Hampton Roads community with our field researcher and reporter, Angela Tucker. She is going to get a post on the thoughts and feelings of the community about their rehabilitated neighbor's conditional release back into society. Out to you, Angela.
Thank you, David and Eric. I'm out in the Hampton Roads community getting the thoughts about the conditional release of Joseph Hagerman after serving 9 years in a hospital for treatment of schizophrenia. So, you have a neighbor that kills his 5-year-old son in their family home. During his trial, it's revealed that he has long suffered from schizophrenia. He was found not guilty by reason of insanity and was sentenced to a hospital. About 9 years later, he is granted conditional release and is allowed to return home on weekends. Can you please give me your immediate thoughts about his conditional release back into your community?
At first, I will be concerned especially if I have kids for myself and the well-being of my fellow neighbors as well. Given his mental history, I guess, I feel he should be in like not psych, it's not like a psych ward, but just seeking treatment in a different center for the safety of others, especially if he's trying to cause harm to anybody else. So that's my initial thought. Like, he shouldn't be released out back into the society. He should be seeking care somewhere else.
Thank you. That's exactly what we
For me personally, it's a little, I'm a little apprehensive about it because it's just like, I know he has a mental condition and he can't control that, but at the same time, it is it will make me nervous if I was in that community because I'll be afraid, like, what if it was to happen again, or prevent it from happening again. So, yeah.
Yeah, your community.
It's scary. I wouldn't trust him. I mean, if you have schizophrenia, I think you should be put away, regarding how bad it is, I guess. But yeah, it's very nerve-wracking having someone like who killed an infant or a 5-year-old be out. It's very scary.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. It's like that type of medication and stuff like that, you never know, especially if he's released, if he's even taking it anymore. That happens a lot when people that are taking that type of severe, like, psychological drugs, they just don't want to take them anymore, and then he's back out being schizophrenic. So, I don't know. I would be scared if he just got released back out. How long did you say, 9 years?
Back into your community.
I think people then understand why he killed his son, and when he's go back, and people need to forgive and learn he's guilty, and get peaceful with people and live together with them. I think.
Good.
And maybe some people they won't kill his son, but he will feel shame. So people need to understand and find a reason he killed his son. I think that's it.
I don't think he should be released back in the community, because I don't know if schizophrenia can be cured or not, but I don't think it can. So I don't think he should be.
Back into your community.
I think because of his condition, like, there was some leeway in his sentencing and everything, like leaving. I don't know, just because I think that it's really hard to think about, like, him being back in, like, the neighborhood and being able to do everyday activity, but just because he does have a condition, like, they had to consider that, so it just makes case by case basis. I feel like.
Would you personally feel in danger?
Yes.
Would
Just
you?
because he committed the crime, doesn't matter his condition, he still was responsible. Like, he should be held responsible.
Perfect.
He has a valid, so I have a degree in psychology. He has a valid defense. However, I think he needs supervision because you need to make sure he maintains his medication. I know it's just the weekends, but which, gives during the week he'll be monitored for medication, I'm assuming. But I don't think everyone would understand that point of view.
Do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I'd probably be uncomfortable with the fact, but then he's uncomfortable. He has a certain disease and he can't control it, so I don't know. I think as long as everything's being monitored.
Yeah, because a lot of times they'll go off and then say, okay, I'm better, and then it's the mess that's making them better. So.
Yeah, back into your community.
I'd probably be scared for other kids. Like, worried about the other kids.
Mm-hmm.